can't see your friends, the rest of the people that are in the group here. So I'm going to be yakking at you. So Jen, if you would help me, if people have questions, it's always fun to just ask right then and there. You can hold till the end, I'll question and answer, but if there's something that you want me to stop on, the slideshow, I wanted it to be about 25 slides, and it's a bit more than that. So there's some that I'm just going to zip right on through, right? We're going to go
Okay.
quickly. So if I go too fast, and it's like, no, wait, I wanted to hear about that. Say stop, go back.
Okay. Not a
All right.
problem.
All right. So thank you for that wonderful introduction. I was looking at it. I think I chatted with your group about 5 years ago. It was pre-COVID. It's the last time we talked. So it's exciting to come back and chat with all of you. I'm Autumn. Jen already did a great job telling you who I am. Also a cosmetic chemist. So I had a skincare company that I sold in 2009. And at that point, what's a girl to do? Well, I started scuba diving again a lot because for the first time in my career, I had a little bit of disposable time and a little disposable money, so go diving. So I'm in Palau, and it was the most spectacular dive of my life at that point. The coral was healthy, the reef was vibrant, and colors were everywhere. And as I'm coming up to my safety stop, I saw a rainbow. I'm like, oh, look how beautiful a rainbow, I'm thinking. And as I get closer, I realize it wasn't a rainbow, it was an oil slick, and it was coming off a group of snorkelers. Sunscreen, right? The sunscreen's emanating off them, and you could just see it kind of just floating off of their bodies. And that was the first time that I really thought about how the products I had been formulating and creating for the last 15 years at that point would impact not just our bodies, natural products, cosmetic chemists. I'd always been making products for the health food industry and the healthy consumer, but it was the first time that I thought about how the products that I created didn't affect just us, but affected the environment. So I get back on the boat, I grab the nearest sunscreen, and I'm reading the ingredients on it. And I'm like, oh crap, there's not a health food store in the world that would allow those products on their shelves. And here it is in this pristine environment. I look over, and one of my friends, she's showering on the back of the deck, as we all do, and these pearlescent, fragrant, voluminous suds are just running right overboard. And I pick up and I read those ingredients, and I'm like, oh, good God, this is not good. So by the time that I came back from that trip, I had written the business plan for Stream2Sea and I knew that we could do better. And it was going to be my mission in life to create the safest product line possible, not just for our bodies, but for our beautiful blue planet as well. So that's how Stream2Sea came about. And we're just starting our 10th year. Kind of exciting. I didn't even realize that until I was talking about it last night. So what is reef safe and what is reef safer? I've always hesitated to say the word reef safe. There's a lot of blue washing that's going on in the world. And my definition, there's no mutually agreed term to define what is reef safe. So what I might say is reef safe could be very different from somebody else. So the key there, the key takeaway is you have to read the ingredients. You cannot trust what's on the front of a label. I think you can trust mine, but you shouldn't. You should read the ingredients, right? Flip it over, read the ingredients. Knowledge is power. We have the only mineral sunscreen in the world that is tested and proven safe for freshwater fish, for saltwater fish, and for coral larvae. Does that mean it's reef safe? I don't know. We call it reef safer because I think that we're the reef safest out there, but I haven't tested it on crustaceans or phytoplankton or microalgae. So I think we're pretty darn safe, but it's really all about the ingredients. I'm just going to buzz by some of this. We all know as divers, we're the protectors of the sea, we're the ocean advocates, we're definitely the voice of the ocean. And we know that the oceans are getting hammered. I'm one of those firm believers. I don't like to be fatalistic, but I'm one of the firm believers that little changes can have a big impact. And if we have the ability to do something better, we have the responsibility and the obligation to do so. Whether it's, drinking out of the cup instead of the straw, or I don't know, if you can do better, you should. We know that sunscreen and personal care products do impact our waters. The ocean's huge. Does my little bottle of sunscreen make a difference? Kinda does. We know that more than 14,000 tons enter our reefs from tourism activities every year. That's just from tourism. We know that oxybenzone is one of the key contaminators, that their use is starting to slow down. But 62 parts per trillion of oxybenzone is the amount that's been measured to render coral larvae inert. It's a really hard, big, tiny number to envision. but it's equivalent to 1 drop in 6 Olympic-sized swimming pools. So 1 drop of that stuff in 6 pools, coral larvae can no longer settle and create more coral babies. And what happens if you can't make more babies? Well, it dies off. So these ingredients are also bioaccumulators, which means if you put that 1 drop in there, a little bit later, there's another drop and another drop. They don't just go away, they accumulate in the environment. And they're known endocrine disruptors. So the reason they hurt the coral and the fish and the turtles and the dolphins are the same reason why I believe you really shouldn't put them on your body either. They're endocrine disruptors, which means it affects the hormones and the development of every system within your body. We could talk about that a lot, but we're not gonna. So these ingredients are in more than just sunscreens as well. I love that people are thinking about sunscreens, but they're also in our body lotions, our deodorants, anything that's smelly and fragrant and beautiful. Quite often those can have endocrine disrupting chemicals. Again, you need to read the ingredients. I believe, Jen, that you should have some of these cards here, the ingredient to avoid cards.
Yes, we've got some in the shop.
Right on. Okay. So grab them, keep them. You can download them off our website. It's a real easy cheat sheet. You flip it over and you can just kind of scan your ingredients. You don't have to know how to pronounce it, but it'll tell you if it's a human health hazard, an eco hazard, or both. And if your product has any of these in there, maybe you want to question its use. We all know that sunscreen, you should know now, sunscreen comes from more than just tourism. If you put sunscreen on your body, it's regulated by the FDA as a drug, right? The reason it's regulated as a drug is because most of them work inside your body. So if you put sunscreen on your skin, wait 15 to 20 minutes for them to, you're supposed to wait 15 to 20 minutes for it to absorb. Where it absorbs the UV radiation from the sun, your body has to convert it to heat and filter it out. Well, also, if you put it on your skin, 30 minutes later, it's detected in your urine. 24 hours later, it's still detected in your blood, and it can be there for more than 28 days. So put it on your skin, go to the bathroom, it's going to run right out anyway. So when people tell us that they only use our products when they're playing in the ocean, like that's awesome, but you do know that all streams lead to the sea, right? It does flow. So how much is in the environment? Some brilliant researchers in 2015 started sampling various places around the world. They started with Hawaii, and they found 1,900 parts per trillion in Honolulu Bay. 1,900, now remember 62 parts per trillion is enough to kill coral larvae. Go to Honolulu Bay, there's no coral babies going on right there. Did the same thing in Trunk Island, Virgin Islands, several other locations around, and found seriously large concentrations of these ingredients in the water. They're finding these sunscreen chemicals in nesting birds, in their sea eggs, in sea turtles, in dolphins, and in fish that we eat, if you eat fish. So then some people will say, well, maybe I just won't wear sunscreen at all. Well, sunscreen is skin cancer is the fastest growing cancer out there. 1 in 5 Americans will get some type of skin cancer by the time that they're 70. How did Jimmy Buffett die? Skin cancer. Bob Marley, skin cancer. It is important to protect your skin. Just do it wisely. And I'm a huge fan of UPF clothing. Wear the rash guards and then apply sunscreen to your exposed skin. 2 classes of sunscreen. You've got the chemical sunscreens and the mineral sunscreens. I'm a chemist, so I like to say that everything is chemicals, but you got the good ones and the bad ones. So you have the UV absorbing chemicals. That's what most of us grew up with. Slather it on if you wore sunscreen. You can squirt out a whole bunch in the bottle, rub it on your skin. You got too much here. I'm going to put it on you, honey. Right? That's the chemical sunscreens. They apply like a body lotion. They go on really easy. They're nice and sheer. They usually smell very fragrant. They have a half-life in your body, and they bioaccumulate in the environment. The mineral sunscreens require a little bit more effort to apply. It's not crazy, but you do have to take another minute or 2 to apply them properly. And if you do, you're not going to look stupid. They don't burn your eyes. They usually will not make you break out. And they sit on top of your skin. So remember I said most sunscreens, you put them on your skin 15 to 30 minutes for exposure. So the UV rays, so the chemicals have time to soak into the fatty layers of your skin, where the UV radiation absorbs them, and then you filter it out. That's the way they work, right? Inside your body. The mineral sunscreen creates a reflective ray. So if you put it on your skin, then that UV radiation should bounce off of its skin. If you're trying to protect yourself from the sun, I don't know about you, but reflecting sounds a whole lot better than absorbing. Sunscreen legislation, pretty much every place that has reviewed the science that relies on the coral reefs for tourism has enacted a ban today. If they've reviewed the science, they voted to approve the ban. Pretty cool. We need more, but it's done pretty good. The awareness is pretty strong now. The only exception to this is Key West. Key West did vote to enact the ban, but the state of Florida, in their infinite wisdom, preempted it, said that it wasn't constitutional for a municipality to ban something that was allowed in the state. And our state makes a lot of sunscreen, so that's probably not going to happen today or tomorrow. The sunscreen labeling saying that you have to read the ingredients, don't trust what's on the front because it's marketing fluff. I was in, where was this? I think this was in the Virgin Islands. They had just passed their ban. And there's these products there that say biodegradable, but you read the back of it and it's got octocrylene and benzophenone 3. You know what benzophenone 3 is? Probably not. That's the chemical name for oxybenzone, which is banned. But yet they're saying that it's biodegradable and safe. There's another one that said reef friendly on it that had 33% chemical UV absorbers. Blue washing again is rampant. But then it even goes so far as to the zinc. I'm teaching people to avoid oxybenzone and octocrylene and those big scary things. But then you even have some zincs. If you're using nano zinc, if it's a clear zinc, it's got nanoparticles, you might as well be using the chemical stuff. So you want to make sure that it says non-nano on the product. I'm talking really fast. Any questions yet? I can't see people. I see Jen smiling at me.
Yeah. Any questions so far? No, nothing yet.
All right, right on. So now we get to our stuff. We make a lot of products. That's my favorite thing to do. I like to just make the stuff. And my director of operations says, would you just stop for a minute and, start selling some of the things before you make more of the things? But I like to make the things. So our number one seller is still our first sunscreen, which is our SPF 30 Water Sport. This one is a little bit whitening on the skin, but the basis of it is titanium dioxide, which if you think about prosthetics and dental implants, titanium dioxide is the most stable of all the minerals out there, which is why we started with this one. This is a sunscreen that if you put on your skin, you apply it properly, apply it well, go do 3 dives, come back up. At the end of the day, you're going to need a little soap and water to get it off. So usually I'll tell somebody, put it on. The FDA requires us to say apply liberally and to reapply every 80 minutes. And I'm like, apply liberally. You'll look really stupid if you apply liberally. Do not apply liberally. I'll show you another slide how we recommend applying it. But after like your dive, put it on in the morning. At lunchtime, I always say my mask will rub it off a little bit right here. So I'll have to like put a couple more dots here and maybe a little bit more on my lips. But you should be pretty good to go. Again, won't burn your eyes, not greasy, won't make your mask slip. We have our newest sunscreen zinc balm. This one does apply sheer. I don't say the word clear because clear implies nanoparticles, but even somebody with some really beautiful melanin-rich skin, you can apply this one. Once you rub it in well, you really won't even be able to tell that you have sunscreen on. I wore this one for a week on, I don't know, where was I, Galapagos or something, and I swear to God, my skin was in better shape when I came back from applying it every day. It's like a really beautiful moisturizer. A little bit goes a long way. It's in a tin, so some people will take this tin. I don't have it in my hands, but pretend. They'll take this tin and they just rub their fingers over the top of it and apply it. You're not getting enough on. You actually do have to get in there. So I tell people, put your finger on top of it, push it down a little bit, scoop out a little nurdle. It's a technical term, the nurdle. And then you can blend that in. So I really like that product. Our formulas are all EWG verified. If you know what EWG is, it's the Environmental Working Group. That was not easy to do, but they have declared that all of our formulas are clean, which I thought was way cool. Those everyday active formulas, we have 4 everyday actives, which are closer to a chemical feeling sunscreen, right? They blend really nice and easy. We have a shimmer formula, which is lovely. If you haven't tried it, it's a shimmer. It's not a glitter. Some people will say that it's a bio glitter. Well, bio glitter even is 98% plastic free. And I'm like, well, what's that other 2%? Microplastic. You don't want bio glitter. It's a shimmer, and the ingredient is borosilicate. So I tell people it's like a crushed sand. If you're walking on the beach at sunset and you see all the diamonds in the sand, that's the same ingredient that we put in that shimmer sunscreen. And then there's a non-shimmer if you want to be boring. There's a tinted and the kids, and they apply lovely. But the cool thing about those formulas, besides just the fact that they're reef safer, safe for your skin and all of that, but they have our patented wet boost technology. Most sunscreens, you put them on your skin, jump in the water, within 30 minutes, you've lost about 50% of the protection. This one, put it on your skin, go spend 80 minutes in the water. Come out and you've got 50% better protection than when you went in, both for SPF and the UVA, UVB broad spectrum. How'd it work? I don't know, it's magic. I was trying to make something really water resistant and we made it where it actually got better. I was like, no kidding. So we patented it. The biggest question that I get outside of the reef side is, how come you don't have an SPF 100? I'm from Canada and I'm really pale and I never see the sun and I need an SPF 100. And I want to tell you, no, you don't. But people don't like it when you tell them they're wrong. So I don't say, no, you don't. I say, let's talk about the science. So the science is, as long as you apply it properly, you have to apply it properly and you do have to reapply at regular intervals. An SPF 30 will block 97% of the UVB rays. So people think that SPF is a measurement of protection. It's not. It's a measurement of time. So the idea is that if you can spend 10 minutes in the sun without burning and you put on an SPF 30, you can now spend 300 minutes in the sun without burning. But you have to reapply every 80 minutes. So what difference does that make? Well, if I'm trying to sell you something, I can just charge more money for a higher level, and maybe that's it. But it's a measurement of time, not level of protection. If you have to reapply every 80 minutes, 300 minutes doesn't make that much difference. So the actual protection level, an SPF 30 will block about 97% of those UVB burning rays. An SPF 50 is less than 1% increase. The difference between a 50 and a 100, again, is less than 1% increase in protection against burning. Doesn't make a lot of sense, right? It's marketing fluff and it gives people a false sense of confidence. So people actually do more damage than good, in my opinion. And the FDA has talked about banning anything above an SPF 50, but the lobbyists have stopped that, so they're going to continue selling them and taking their money. So how do you apply? Dots. I really like the dot method. If you take your sunscreen and you squirt the tube and it goes, you hear that sound? Right? If you hear that sound, bad news. I hope that you're sharing with 10 friends, right? You don't need that much. So take like that large pea size amount and just dot it on. You know, like this guy's putting the little dots on. I'll put a dot around on my forehead and then I'll blend. Or I'll put dots on your arm and then blend. Or you can even take that pea size amount, palm your hands, press it together and press it into your face and then blend. You can do that. You don't want to take a big old glob and put it right here because it's all going to stay right here. Make sense? Okay. Dot method. The real key with using a mineral or a conventional sunscreen is please do reapply and apply early. If you apply when you start to feel burned, when you're out there in the sun and you're enjoying, it's beautiful because you came up from a cold dive and you're enjoying the warmth, and you sit there and say, oh, gee, I should probably put some sunscreen on, chances are you're already a little burned, right? So you've got to apply early. I always tell people, put it on before you even leave your cabin or before you go outside. Just go ahead and put on a light coating and you're good to go. Shampoo and body wash and leave-in conditioner. I'm not supposed to have favorites, but the leave-in conditioner might be my favorite product. Really good stuff. If you have long hair, curly hair, or hair that gets tangled, beards even, this stuff's pretty amazing. I've been formulating natural skincare. I've done a lot of salon quality products. When I made this product, I thoroughly soaked it with keratin, panthenol. It's got all the provitamins and antioxidants in there that you would get in the salon quality product without that huge price tag. And it's got the eco-safe ingredients. So it does a really nice job. The shampoo and body wash as well, I could call either one of these a keratin formula or a panthenol formula. Instead, we just say that they're safe. The shampoo has wonderful enzymes in there as well. So wetsuit stinks, any residues that may remain on your body, it does a really good job rinsing that off as well. And the packaging, I don't like plastic. That blue bottle is 100% ocean-bound plastic, which means that it's materials that have been collected directly from the water or the coastal communities and given a second chance at a better ending. So we're trying to do that as much as we can. The other bottles are just PCR. I haven't been able to get ocean-bound in the tubes, but I can get it in the caps. Our Sun and Sting Soothing Gel, this is one that I think everybody should just keep it in your dive bag. If you get hit by jellyfish, fire coral, any stinging cells in the water, this stuff does a great job. My husband uses it as an aftershave. I like the way it smells, so that's okay with me. I can make more. Our body lotion, I've had some people say, really? I mean, you're like a sunscreen company, outdoor performance stuff. I don't really need the lotion. Well, we are damaging our skin, right? We're doing our best that we can to protect it. But when we're out there in the sun and the salt and the sun and the salt and the sun and the sun, you're putting a lot of oxidative stress on your skin. This body lotion, I formulated it for somebody that maybe doesn't like to apply lotion. It's very light. It's very non-greasy. If you put it on about 5 minutes later, you shouldn't feel it any longer, but you're going to have replenished the moisture and replenished the antioxidants. So this helps to counter some of the damage that we're doing. The shimmer is just a really fun version because I like sparkle. It's fun. The hand creams, performance hand creams, I don't know about you, but my hands are toasted. I went and got a pedicure recently because my toes were going to be in sandals and I thought it'd be kind of fun. And the guy was like, "Oh, let's give you a manicure." I'm like, "Oh, you're funny. You're funny." I work with my hands way too much. That would last about 30 seconds. But these hand creams, I made these originally during COVID when everybody's using sanitizer. But what I found, the goal was to not have something greasy because my hands need it, but I don't want to feel like I can't do the things, whether it's touching my mouse or, whoops, don't touch my mouse. My computer does weird things. Okay, whether it's touching the mouse, the steering wheel, anything like that, I want it to be able to soak in very quickly and go away. These do a great job of it. Same thing with the foot cream. If you're in wet dive booties quite often, or you tend to get the gunk because we stay wet, this is formulated to help get rid of the gunk. Very technical words. Squalane's in a lot of our formulas. We could do a whole training on squalane. Squalane typically comes from shark livers. We don't play that game. Ours comes from olives and sugarcane, but it is an amazing facial moisturizer. You can use it on your hair. You can use it anywhere else. But this is, to me, this can replace $200 worth of facial skincare products. It's really nice stuff. It does a great job stimulating collagen and non-comedogenic, blah, blah, blah. I won't talk about that anymore, but it's in all of my formulas and we offer it by itself. BB cream, same thing, really nice facial sunscreen. Mass defog, I can't see any of you, but who uses my defog? Raise your hand, right?
Yep.
If you don't, borrow Jen's, because it's really great stuff. I am the foggiest diver in the world. I dive a rebreather, and I have 1,000 pictures of just completely foggy or sitting there with an inch of water on the bottom of my mask to rinse it. I got tired of it and finally made our own, and the stuff works really great. Our newest product is our water sport, second newest product is our water sport ear rinse. Everybody uses ear beer, me too. I took the basic ear beer formula. I added a little bit of lavender and a little bit of oregano to it. So it just kicked it up a notch, but it does a great job. We don't call it an ear drying aid. We don't call it an ear drying aid because if you say ear drying, the FDA calls that a drug. And if you want to call it a drug with the FDA, you have to use 95% isopropyl alcohol and 5% glycerin. So 95% isopropyl alcohol is going to over dry your ears if you're going to use it like a diver would. If you're going to use it twice a day for 5 days in a row, you're going to end up with little micro tears in your ear chunks. So this does not have that. It's got about 45% alcohol, which is enough to push the water out, not ear drying. And then it's got vinegar in there to help balance out the pH, restore the balance in your ear, a little bit of glycerin to restore the moisture, and then the oregano and the lavender, the oregano to get rid of any funk, the lavender to soothe any inflammation. So it's a great product, and I'd love your feedback on that one because we just launched it recently.
Nice.
Now, how long have I been talking? How am I doing? My watch died, so I get to keep talking to you. We're good.
Good. Keep going.
All right, so coral care. I started Stream2Sea 10 years ago to do good, right? We wanted to make the best products we possibly could, and I wanted to do good for our waters, or at least do no harm. That was really the goal. Let's do no harm. Now we're able to do good, right? So the idea was, could I make a sunscreen that we could take into the waters and those overly populated areas where everybody's snorkeling and actually bring something beneficial? So I did it, and then we had to do some testing. So I'm going to play this video. Hopefully you're going to hear the sound. It's going to play for just a second, and then you're going to hear somebody talking. If you don't, stop me, because that means there's something wrong with my setting.
Okay.
Okay.
When we talk about threats to our oceans and marine life, we often forget one of the most deadly: tourists. Lawmakers passed a bill Tuesday banning sunscreens that contain two specific chemicals that are believed to cause harm to marine life and coral reefs. Every year, over 14,000 tons of sunscreen wash off us and into the sea, with over 80% of brands containing chemicals that are lethal for coral reefs. While some have removed chemicals from their sunscreens, Stream2Sea wanted to do more. So what if we turned the source of this invisible problem into the solution? Introducing Coral Care. In a world first, we partnered with leading marine and cosmetic technicians to create a sunscreen that's not only safe for coral, it actually feeds it. To a base formula that excluded all harmful ingredients and passed extensive aquatic testing, we also added a unique blend of marine nutrients proven to nourish coral and went into 6 months of coral testing. We discovered that Coral Care can boost healthy coral growth 50% more than the world's leading reef-safe sunscreens, and an incredible 21% more than Mother Nature alone. To take this initiative to the world, we also created a whole new classification, not just SPF, but RPF, a way of identifying sunscreen that truly kills the coral, and a mark that hopefully someday all sunscreens will have to carry. At launch, with product sampling, social media activity, and global PR, we saw an incredible response.
When I first heard about Coral Care, I got really excited about how something could be changed from a negative to a positive.
Coral Care is now going global, partnering with government and tourism companies to help turn the tide on coral's future.
The world needs more concepts and products like Coral Care.
Coral Care with RPF, the little tube of sunscreen with enormous potential for change.
Pretty cool, right? Pretty cool.
Nice.
So I'm just gonna skip by this. We all know the reefs are seriously important. We all know that we need to make changes. And we are. I'm going to skip by that. You don't need to hear me talking about that. I hate hearing myself talk. So we made this great product, and it's just concept, right? Can we make a product that does good? Can we make something that would be beneficial for the coral? Great idea. Collaborate. You have to have science. Slide that I was missing from there was our initial product line was tested and proven. You know, we did all of the aquatic toxicity. So we collaborated with Professor Michael Sweet. He is the professor at University of Derby, leads their aquatic research department. He is the UN advisor for marine health and all things coral. Seriously credentialed guy who was a naysayer on the sunscreen side. He's like, yeah, no way. But he went out and basically proving me wrong, set up the trials, did 18 weeks, 9 tanks, 4 species of coral. He's expanded it now to 6 species. He's getting all of these grants to keep on going because he thinks it's the most amazing thing in the world, and measure the growth in 3 different metrics. This is the most scientifically validated sunscreen for marine health in the world now. And the results were pretty remarkable.
My name is Professor Michael.
Oh, look.
We're in the aquatic research facility at the University of Derby in the United Kingdom. Here we did a world-renowned study looking at the impacts and effects of sun cream, and it was one of the largest sun cream tests that we ever undertook. So about 18 weeks of testing. It was across 9 tracks, including controls, the reef-safe sunscreen, and coral care. We also looked at 4 different species of coral, which is very important to actually understand the breadth and the threat that sunscreen can face across corals worldwide. And the growths were measured in 3 different metrics. What we found with this new Coral Care, this new sunscreen that's been developed, was a staggering 21% increase in horizontal growth, 5% in vertical growth, and 0% in wet weights in comparison to control. If you related this to one of the best sun creams on the market, then we actually equated to much larger percentages moving forward.
I didn't realize that slide was on there. Pretty cool. So that's Michael Sweet. And pictures speak 1,000 words. If you look at the control on the left here, this is just a healthy coral fragment that they're just growing it. So over 16 weeks, it grew pretty significantly. When you exposed it to Coral Care sunscreen, it grew significantly more. And we saw those results in multiple tanks and multiple species. So wearing a sunscreen, jumping into the water, instead of bringing a toxin into the water, you can actually bring in some coral food. It's pretty amazing. We did a very brief press release. We introduced it in the UK and it received amazing attention. Is that on there? It won the Cannes Award for Product Innovation in November as well, which was pretty amazing. So Stream2Sea, one of our key differentiators, we manufacture 100% of our products in our facility in Central Florida. We are one of 2 sunscreen manufacturers in the United States that makes our own stuff, brands. Most of small companies anyway. The majority of the sunscreens are manufactured out of 8 different facilities across the country, and they make all of the big brands and a lot of the small ones as well, which is why if you remember when you heard about like the benzene contamination in some of those, if it's in one, it's going to be in all of them because they're all made in the same place. So we make all of our things here because I'm a control freak and I like to make stuff. And woman-owned, veteran-operated, Central Florida. And I really appreciate your help spreading the word and the support for our products as well in our oceans. Thank you very much. And I will stop sharing my screen here. And I'd love to answer your questions. Did I stop sharing the screen? There we go.
The shelf life mineral-based sunscreen compared to other ones.
Can you hear?
Nope.
What is the shelf life on a mineral-based sunscreen versus chemical-based?
Great question. Okay, so minerals don't degrade. When I make a new product, I have to do all of the FDA required stability testing. And one of the things you do is you start with your sunscreen, you say, okay, it's got 20% zinc in it. And then you do an accelerated 3-year shelf, if you're going to give it a 3-year shelf life, and you have to prove that after 3 years, it still has 20% zinc in it. Well, the typical chemical-based sunscreens, if they want to end up with 20% chemical actives, they have to start with 30 because it degrades pretty rapidly and pretty significantly. The zinc and the titanium, they don't go anywhere. They don't degrade at all. Now, the base of it could go rancid or that could expire, but the mineral itself really doesn't degrade. We put a 2 to 3 year shelf life on everything that we make. If we launch a new product, we give it a 2-year shelf life. Once it's exceeded the 3 years, we'll revalidate it for 3 years. Hope that answers your question. Thank you. Good one.
Your ear product, did you use that just on a weekly basis just to help kind of keep your ears clear? I have one that kind of stops up a lot. Stuff.
Can you hear?
Summarize for me. I hear bits and pieces.
Yeah, she wants to know if you get that ear product, if you could use that on a daily, weekly basis when you're not in the water.
Yeah, totally. It's a really nice ear rinse, and you can just use it as you need to. It won't over dry your ears. If I'm on a liveaboard, I don't know that I use it after every dive, but probably twice a day I'd be using it. If I'm home and like doing I swim, I have a pool. I use it pretty much every time I get out of the water.
Water?
Yeah.
You can use it weekly, even when you're not diving and.
Sure. Yeah, it's not going to hurt you any. Absolutely. Use it as you need to, as you see fit, but it's you can use it like as a cleanse. If you're not supposed to put Q-tips in your ear, so don't do that. Use your towel, but absolutely just put some in, massage it around, kick it out. Absolutely.
Take to get a product from start to finish? It seems like you create quite a few products. How long does it usually take you to get it to market?
How long does it take once you get the idea to get it to market?
It depends on which it is and the stability. So my original sunscreen, it took just about a year. From formulation to testing took just about a year. And usually to bring a new sunscreen to the market, it's about a year. I can be a little OCD, so like the everyday active formulas, that took almost 2 years to make. The zinc balm was pretty simple. I got that right on the first try, so that was just a couple months. I like that question. That's fun. I could launch a lot more products, but my COO, I'm afraid of her. She won't let me for a while.
So I know you have the lip balms for your lips, for chapped lips. Are you gonna come out with anything for men who have facial hair for their mustache area so they can have some like a fragrance to it?
Says the gentleman with the mustache.
Yeah. So I didn't hear the fragrance bit. What was that?
You had
It doesn't have like lavender fragrance, something.
something unscented for the manly beard.
Yeah, yeah, okay, I like it. So the let's see. So the leave-in conditioner would probably be my first choice. But if you're looking at something more of like a balm type product, my husband uses our Naked lip balm, and he uses that to help keep his mask from leaking with he's got a goatee, and he uses that to keep from leaking. So I don't know that we're going to make like beard products because there's a lot of companies doing that really well. But on our side, I mean, if you've got a lip balm and you want it for that purpose, rock on.
But you could use leave-in conditioner for all of that as well.
Oh yeah, you should. Like totally should. You know, you get all big old Grizzly Adams, slap some leave-in conditioner on there before you go smooching somebody.
Do you have anything coming that you're thinking about, that you're working on, it's exciting?
So I've made the best deodorant in the world. So as a natural products chemist, there were two things. Like natural shampoo is really hard. There's many, many natural customers that will go to the Whole Foods and spend lots of money on your organic tomatoes and all of the organic things, but you still go to the salon to buy your hair care and it's all full of toxic crap because, you know, our hair is finicky and it's all about balance. Shampoo is really hard. I think we nailed it. I think we've got a great shampoo. We've got a great conditioner. Deodorant is the next one. I'm all about my natural stuff, but when I was out traveling in the world, it was like strong enough for man, pH balance for woman, because I'm not going to stink. And those crystals just don't cut it. So I've been working on natural deodorants forever, and I've made it. It is so bloody good, and it's good unfragranced. A lot of the natural deodorants are just over scented, so you're perfuming your pits. This works with the scent and without, but I'm not allowed to make it for a while.
Oh, no.
I
Okay.
know, I know, I know. It's
Not yet.
that'll probably be on the market. It's different equipment. So
Okay.
it changes the production process. And I'm like, we can justify it. We can do it. We can do it. And then my team out there is like, please don't. Please don't. Because we just launched Coral Care and it's hard to keep that stuff in stock right now. So
Okay.
at some point in the near future, I will be doing that. I also want to do Salty Dog. I have some pet products that I want to make because I have 5 dogs and I
Oh,
just
fun.
like the name Salty Dog. That sounds fun.
Yeah.
So I'll be doing some pet products in the future, but right now I think we're going to be focusing on Coral Care. And the next generation for Coral Care is getting the rest of the products certified for Coral Care. I didn't talk much about the RPF, the Reef Protection Factor. That is a designation that I think is going to change the sunscreen industry. We're collaborating with McCann, who is the largest PR and marketing firm in the world or in the UK. And I think that just when you have a British person talking in a video, it sounds like more professional, right?
Absolutely.
They did a great job. So they are leading the charge and they're collaborating with the UN and the ICRI, which is the International Coral Reef Institute, to sign on as adopters on RPF. They've got 4 different labs that are already qualified to do a lot of these testing. So my hope is within the next year, it's not just going to be Coral Care that will be certified RPF. Hopefully there will be 100 choices out there that will be RPF certified. So you know that if you're buying any one of these, I mean, buy mine, right? But buy any of these that are available and do better in the world. So that's the goal. And I'm helping to champion that effort. I hope that we're working in Indonesia. They're planning on adopting it. Australia is very interested. The US will not, so it'll just be marketing here. But I think it's going to change the way that divers and people that love the ocean look at sunscreen. That's my goal.
It's fantastic.
Yeah. So thank you for your time. I really appreciate everybody. I'd love to go jump on a trip with you one of these days.
Absolutely. Invited anytime.
Thank you. Thank you.
So,
And if anybody else has other questions or you think of things in the future, by all means, shoot me an email. Jen knows how to get a hold of me.
okay. Absolutely.
All right. Enjoy
Okay.
giving stuff away. Thank you. I hope everybody wins good stuff.
Absolutely. We appreciate you taking the time to talk to us.
Always. You have a wonderful rest of your night.
Thank you.